What is up, guys? Sammy bringing you back in another video. Today is September 18th and I'm with the Youngkin campaign today, or I should say Glenn Youngkin. But other than that, the reason why I'm out here because I'm not allowed to vlog in the campaign office. But other than that, today's gonna be a good day because, like I said, I'm with Glenn Youngkin's campaign. And yeah, other than that, like I said, I'm not allowed to vlog in a campaign office. But other than that, I will see you guys whenever I could record stuff. So catch you guys during the time.
Ready for a new governor? Yeah! So much fun. Thank you for being out here today in the sunshine. There's my friend Harold Pion. He's going to go to Richmond with me. Hello. Yeah. There's my friend Rob Cruz. He's going to Richmond with me. Let's go. Let's go. If I left you out, I'm sorry. Who else is here?
Hey, where's Brett?
All right, good. They're going to Richmond with me. Go to Richmond. Here we go. Folks, what it's all about. We have real modest ambitions. Sweep the statewide seats. Take back our House of Delegates. Win school board seats. School boards matter. School boards matter. Sheriff, advisory board seats, city council seats, treasurer seats. Friends, there is a wave going across Virginia, and everywhere you go, you can feel it everywhere. I mean, it is unbelievable. This morning, we did a veterans event down in Henrico County. The place was packed. They're going to work to get the vote out like you can't believe. There's 750,000 veterans in this great Commonwealth of Virginia, and we're going to get them all out to vote. Yesterday morning, we were in Whitville doing a Get Out the Vote rally, and I'm sitting there giving a speech, and a gentleman walks up in uniform, and he says, and I knew exactly who it was, I said, Sheriff Vaughn, how are you, from Grayson County? And he said, Glenn, I got an announcement to make this morning. I'm joining the Republican Party because I can't believe what's going on with Democrats. This is what's happening across Virginia. It is so good. It is good. For those of you who have not met my lovely wife, Suzanne, you know, 27 years ago, she married me, and I knew right then and there, boy, I got the better end of that deal. So thank you, love. Thank you. Friends, I want to thank you for being out here voting today. I want to thank you, those who are out here have been knocking doors and going to work. This is what it takes. Because guess what? When we lock arms, when we work together, we can accomplish anything. Anything. And right now, we're about to make a bold, big statement across the whole Commonwealth of Virginia and the whole country. There was an article 2 weeks ago that ran in the paper, and it said, so goes Virginia, so goes New Jersey, so goes America. This is what we know is going on. Because the country is watching. We can hear you. The country.
We can hear you.
Wait a minute. The country is watching. The country is watching because guess what? We're all going to stand up as Virginians and say no to this left, liberal, progressive agenda that's been taken over our Commonwealth. All right, so the other night, I had a lot of fun because I got to have my first debate against Terry McAuliffe. Great job. And I got to tell you, as we were preparing for the debate, you know, I was supposed to, when he's talking, thank you. As I was, oh, there we go, look at that. He fixes most things. As I was preparing for the debate, I was supposed to, when he was talking, put my arm on the podium and look at him. And I did that right at the beginning, and I just couldn't do it any longer. I think you're losing it, pal. So the whole time, I was nice and calm because I got to look at Suzanne all night. She was sitting down there in front. So friends, what Virginia's got a chance to see is just the clear difference between tired, old policies. He talks about his 130 pages of policy. It's the same 130 pages that was there in 2009. It's the same 130 pages that was there in 2013. And oh, by the way, the Thomas Jefferson Institute came out and said that 130 pages of policy is going to cost Virginians $16 billion, $5,400 per family. So if Terry McAuliffe is our governor, get your checkbook out, because he's going to raise taxes on everybody. That's what he has to do. But you know what? The big issue is he doesn't think that it's your money. He thinks it's his money. And therefore he can do whatever he wants to it. In the last 12 months, the left liberal progressives in Richmond have overtaxed Virginians $2.6 billion. And they're going to do it again this year. And that's why I know on day one we're going to cut your cost of living, because we're going to reduce the tax burden on Virginians. That's what we're going to do. We're going to eliminate the grocery tax. Eliminate it. I cannot believe we tax milk, eggs, and bread. We're going to suspend the gas tax increase for a year. We're going to double your standard deduction. We're going to declare the largest tax rebate in the history of Virginia. $600 for families filing jointly, $300 for people filing individually. We're going to work to exclude $40,000 of our veteran heroes' retirement benefits from taxes. For families of four, it's going to mean $1,400 to $1,500 in year one. It's your money, you should keep it. It's your money. This entire plan on day one is fully funded. It's fully funded because the Democrats have overtaxed Virginians for too long. We can give money back and fund most needed investments. On day one, we're going to stand up for law enforcement because they stand up for us. We're going to comprehensively fund law enforcement, salaries, better retirement. We're going to fund equipment, fully fund training. We're going to go to work to protect qualified immunity. My opponent can't figure out what he's going to do with it. One day he's getting rid of it, one day he's protecting it, one day he's getting rid of it. I'm going to protect qualified immunity. We're going to fund our mental health system. It's in a state of crisis. Finally, on day one, we're going to fire the entire parole board and start all over again. We're going to reestablish expectations of excellence in our schools. Our schools that let down our kids. Terry McAuliffe didn't like that 88 schools in Virginia failed to reach their accreditation, so what did he do? He lowered the standards so not one would fail. Terry McAuliffe believes in a basic education philosophy: leave every child behind. That's what he wants to do. Our kids today are failing. Over 55% of white children cannot pass an 8th grade math equivalency test. 70% of Latino kids, 80% of black children. The gap is unacceptable. The absolute numbers are shocking. We're going to go to work. First, our schools are going to stay open so our children can go to school in class 5 days a week. We're going to raise expectations and demand our schools deliver, and then I will oversee the largest education budget in the history of Virginia. We're going to raise teacher pay, invest in the schools, invest in special education, and then we're going to demand results. We're going to press forward with the most aggressive charter school initiative ever seen in Virginia. Ever. Parents deserve choice within the public school system. We are going to launch 20 innovation charter schools in year one. We're going to close the gap. Virginia has 8 charter schools. North Carolina has 190. Maryland has 140. We're going to start with 20, but by the time we're done, we're going to have closed that gap, folks. And finally, on day one, we've got to recognize that Dr. Martin Luther King's words of calling us all to be better than ourselves, to judge one another based on the content of our character, not the color of our skin, means that we're going to ban critical race theory on day one. We're going to reinvigorate the job machine across Virginia. Terry McAuliffe's economy stalled. The states around us have grown 70% faster over the last 8 years. When he was governor, they grew 120% faster economically. 44,000 jobs created in 8 years. North Carolina created 8 times that much. Tennessee, 6 times that much. Those should be Virginia jobs, but Terry McAuliffe doesn't know how to do it. Day one, we're gonna make sure that our economy is never, ever shuttered again. No lockdowns in Virginia, none. We're gonna cut 25% of the regulations in Richmond that have been killing our jobs across the Commonwealth. We're going to declare a 12-month tax holiday for small businesses so you can keep that money and grow and invest in your employees. We are going to protect our right to work status. Terry McAuliffe wants to get rid of it. We have a plan to create 400,000 jobs in 4 years, 10,000 startups. We are going to be the job envy of the nation, and I will be the jobs governor. Finally, we're going to make government work for us as opposed to telling us what to do. My opponent believes in mandates. He wants to shut our schools. He wants to shut our economy. We were ranked 50th in the nation, 50th in freedom in March, and he was sitting back enjoying watching it. Our schools were shut. He didn't say a word. He wants to mandate that everybody get the vaccine as opposed to doing the hard work as a leader and demonstrating that, yes, you should get the vaccine, but I trust you to make the decision for your own health. We're going to stand up and protect our constitutional rights, our First Amendment right, our Second Amendment right, our 10th Amendment right. Jason Miyares, Winsome Sears, and I are going to go to work to protect Virginia from overreach in Washington. That's what we're going to do. And finally, friends, I've got my eye on 2 departments in government to go fix on day one, because this is what happens when you send people into these offices that have never run anything in their life. We're going to go fix the DMV and the Virginia Employment Commission. Now, this race is a dead heat. Even the Washington Post said so. That means I'm up 2. It is a dead heat. It's a dead heat in each one of our delegate races. It's a dead heat in each one of our sheriff races. It's a dead heat in each one of our school board races. Yeah. That means we need you more than ever right now, because it's not about me. It's about us. Yeah. It's about us. So friends, the fact that you're out here means that you love the Commonwealth of Virginia. The fact that you're out here means you're willing to roll up your sleeves and go to work. We need you to go to work. We need you to knock doors. We need you to write letters. We need you to make phone calls. We need you to volunteer to be election observers, election officials, hand out sample ballots at the polls. We need you to go get 10 friends to come vote with you. 10, not 10 that are already here, 10 other people. Get them to the polls, and when they don't come, go pick them up in your car and bring them. Because if we turn out like we should turn out, we win this thing going away, friends. So now's our time. Now's our time. It's time for Virginians to lead. It's time for Virginians to lead. It's part of our DNA. We've been leading from the very beginning. This great country is built on the foundations that came from Virginia. Our country's history is Virginia's history. And our country's future is going to be rested right now in Virginia's present. We together can change the future of Virginia, but also the future of our country, and they're counting on it. Our nation is counting on all of us to come together, sweep the statewide races, win back our House of Delegates, have an absolute landslide of new Republicans coming into office in every local office and saying on behalf of Americans, no, this left liberal progressive agenda has no place here. None. So let's go to work. let's go to work. I'm going to thank you all right now because I know you're here because you're ready to go to work. Suzanne and I are going to work every day. Every day. We're going to run so hard the next 6 weeks, you're going to make your head spin. Your head spin. And I cannot wait to go work for all of you as the 74th Governor of Virginia. God bless you. Now, I get the distinct privilege of introducing to you a really, really, really good man. He thinks so too. A very, very good man. A great public servant. An incredibly astute prosecutor. Someone who fully appreciates what it means to be an American. A gentleman who, as I've gotten to know him incredibly well, from the day I first met him, I've held him in the highest respect because he wants to go serve Virginians. He understands what it means to serve Virginians. But most importantly, he understands what it's going to mean to be Virginia's top cop. To stand up for victims. To press forward with an agenda that makes our communities safe. To have law enforcement trust him. I'm going to say that again, to have law enforcement trust him, as opposed to what we have now with our current Attorney General. Friends, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that day on January 15th, where Winsome Sears is our Lieutenant Governor, and I'm going to work for you as your Governor. And my friend Jason Miyares is going to go work for you as your Attorney General, that we get to swear in a Bible, standing on that, swearing that we're going to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this Commonwealth of Virginia. And I can't think of two people that I would be more honored to go work with than Winsome Sears and my friend Jason Miyares.
Share real quick, and I know they have another event, but the first time that I met this fine man, mutual friend said, listen, Jason, I know you're thinking about running for Attorney General. I have a friend that's thinking about running for Governor. I think you guys should meet. It's supposed to be a 30-minute coffee. It ended up being about 2.5 hours. And before I met, I had never met Glenn in my life. And I, like most people, I Googled him. And I saw, wow, not only is he one of the most successful business leaders in Virginia, he's one of the most successful business leaders in America. And I remember sitting down with him and said, listen, you've obviously been incredibly successful where you are. Why in the world would you want to get involved in the snake pit that is our modern Virginia political system? Our modern political system, where you know the media is going to distort who you are. You know you're going to have opponents that lie about what you believe and who you are. It is such a broken system right now. Why would you want to give up this incredible life you have to get involved in this? And he said, precisely for all the reasons you just described. Because it is broken. Because it's a broken system. And folks, if we're going to change Richmond, we have to change the type of leaders we take and elect to Richmond. And I can think of nobody better than a Governor, Glenn Youngkin. But listen, Virginians, you're here today because you realize right now it's time. If you've turned on the nightly news and you've been frustrated, the fact that our murder rate has been the highest it's been in decades, right now it's time. If you've read in the newspaper how you have far left liberal teachers that are pushing a political agenda, that are training and teaching an entire generation of children to learn to hate their country, now's your time. If you have friends or you serve in law enforcement and you see what's happened in Richmond with these far left policies that are making Virginians less safe and less secure, now's your time. If you see every day some new tax or some new regulation coming out of Richmond or Washington that is hurting Virginia business owners and hurting your family, now is your time. Because guess what time it is? It's election time. Now, those people that are frustrated and you're frustrated in the direction of Virginia, right now you can make your voice heard. And the great irony, we have this inflection point. We see a lot of polling right now, right? Every day there's a new poll. Last public poll had me up, I think, 1.5 points. But the poll that shocked me was a poll that came out in July. And it asked this question. It said, how proud are you to be an American? And only 36% of young people age 18 to 25 said they were very or even somewhat proud to be an American. And that floored me. Because the great irony right now, where we have people questioning what it is that we are as a country, they're waving a different country's flag down in Havana and in Hong Kong. And it's not the flag of the European Union. They're waving our flag. Because sometimes it takes someone outside of our country to see that this is indeed, as Abraham Lincoln noted, the last best hope on earth. My mother got on that airplane in communist Cuba, literally homeless, with nothing, but she wasn't hopeless, because she realized her ultimate destination was this amazing, amazing country. We have given more second chances to more people than any country in the history of the world. And as my running mate Winston Sears loves to say, America isn't what she should be, but she sure as heck isn't what she used to be either. And it's okay to celebrate that fact. My mother left in 1965, leaving a country with no consent of the governed, and almost 50 years to the day, she's able to walk into a voting booth and vote for me to represent her in the oldest democracy in the Western Hemisphere, the House of Delegates. That can only happen in this amazing country. And the fact that we're having an entire generation of young people that have such a distorted view of who we are as a people, it breaks my heart. And that's why I'm so excited about the fact that a governor, Glenn Youngkin, will ban critical race theory and not being allowed to be taught in our schools. And I know we have Harold here, we have so many good House of Delegate candidates. If you're running for the House of Delegates, raise your hand. Thank you. Folks, I've had a front row seat of this far-left liberal monopoly in Richmond. And common sense is not very common. It's not common sense to try to reduce from a felony to a misdemeanor assaulting a police officer. It's not common sense to end the mandatory reporting requirement of sexual assault in schools. It's not common sense to say we're going to get rid of all mandatory minimums for drug dealers, not drug users, drug dealers, including second offense dealing drugs to a child at a bus stop. In other words, you've dealt drugs to a child at a school or a bus stop, you get convicted, you come back, you do it a second time, still no mandatory minimums. That's not common sense. Giving 50% off your sentence automatically if you're convicted of a DUI manslaughter or child pornography. By the way, everything I just described, that's not rhetoric, that's actual legislation being pushed forth by this far-left liberal monopoly in Richmond. That does not make Virginians more safe. That makes them less safe. And I know all of these fine individuals running for the House of Delegates will be voting no when their opponents all voted yes. So thank you for running. If you don't think the elections matter, if you don't think leadership matters, just look at this parole board. The McAuliffe-Northam Parole Board. When people like George Allen were governor, they put victims on the parole board, so the voices of the victims are never forgotten. I can tell you as a prosecutor, the cases you remember, I remember the victims. Those are the ones that haunt me. You don't remember the defendants, you remember the victims and their stories and the impact. And the idea that we'd be letting out cop killers, murderers, and rapists with decades on their sentence back under our streets is unconscionable to me. And that's what they did, and there's countless stories I could share. But just one real quick. David Simpkins had 56 prior felony convictions. I kid you not, 56, that's not a typo. Including 14 prior armed robberies, child abduction, forcible sodomy. Supposed to be in prison until the year 2066. Where do you think David Simpkins is right now? Free. Well, he was free. He got released 46 years early. You know what he did with his 56th chance to get his life straight?
Robbed your bank.
He committed his 57th felony. He walked into a convenience store, put on a ski mask, held a gun up to the head of a young clerk.
Oh my God.
And as the prosecutor noted in that case, David Simpkins should have never, ever, ever been in a position to harm Virginians ever again. And he was. Why? Because Terry McAuliffe's parole board let him out. That's what's at stake. And I can tell you as Attorney General, I'll sue the parole board to stop them, if need be, from letting out violent criminals back on the streets. If they're violating the law, if they're not notifying the victims, they will be held accountable. But listen, I'm excited about this moment. I'm excited about where we are. Not only because everything shows us neck and neck and the trend lines and everything's showing our way, but I'm excited the fact that the eyes of the nation, as Glenn noted, is on Virginia. And if there's one truth I want everybody to walk away from today is this. You won life's lottery this morning when you woke up. Because you woke up in the United States of America. And where you're standing, I want everybody to pause and think, where you're standing at this exact moment, in this exact place, there are millions of people on this planet that would do everything in their power. They would crawl over broken glass, they would cling to the side of an airplane to be standing where you're standing right now, and that's being an American. That also comes with a responsibility. Part of what they're desperate for is to be able to vote. One of my earliest memories was seeing the pride my mother had after she finally became a U.S. citizen to be able to cast her very first ballot was for Ronald Reagan in 1984. At 38. So when I talked about the American miracle earlier, every time you vote, you're confirming the American miracle still survives. And you can vote literally, as polling already closed today? Not today, on Monday. On Monday, you can go vote, and that's what we're encouraging everybody to do. Plus, you get off all of the verbal calls, all the text messages, all the mailers. You don't only save us money, so you don't have to remind me to go vote, but you probably save some bandwidth on your phone. Listen, it is a great joy to be here. If your family came to this country seeking hope and opportunity, there's a great chance your family is a lot like my family. It'd be the biggest honor of my life to be your next Attorney General. But I now want to introduce, and I hope he's ready, a dear friend of mine that I served with. I used to joke, call him Colonel, but not only he's a veteran, not only did a fantastic job in the General Assembly, but he's now a fantastic party chairman who's both growing our party with conviction, with passion, has been not just a dear friend to me, but a great leader. Your friend, our state party chairman, Rich Anderson.
Definitely ready to win. That is a question I do not have to pose to any of you. Thank you for being here for our great candidate for governor and attorney general of this wonderful Commonwealth of Virginia that we all love so very much. Now is the time for anyone who loves their Commonwealth to be right here on the ground, working to elect these great candidates up and down the ticket. I'm looking around the crowd and I see so many great candidates for the Virginia House of Delegates. They'll be introduced in a few minutes, but thank you. Thank you for stepping forward and presenting yourself in public service to this great Commonwealth, guys. I appreciate that so much. This year, we decided to not make the same mistake that we had made in prior years, and specifically in 2019, when only 75% of our seats in the House and the Senate election had viable candidates. Nobody ran. Some 36 seats had no Republican candidate. This year, we effectively, for the House of Delegates, have 100 candidates running to replace these Democrats. The reason I say effectively is Republicans working together were able to recruit 98 filed, certified, and nominated Republicans, and the other 2 districts have independent conservatives who will caucus with the Republican caucus beginning in January of 2022 when this great group gets sworn in. I would like to do a specific call out. It was not the Republican Party of Virginia alone that did this. It worked as it should have worked, and that is Republicans work together in partnership to make this happen. I would like to call out such entities as the Young Republican Federation of Virginia, chaired by Jesse Rappeljay, the Virginia Federation of Republican Women, chaired by Paula Steiner, the Virginia Project, some great Republican congressional district chairs that worked very hard, and those delegate candidates who stepped forward on their own initiative to present themselves. So thank you so much. Let me just give you a quick assessment before I conclude. You've heard Glenn speak here today and in numerous forums. You've heard Jason speak. You have heard our great candidate for Lieutenant Governor speak. And here's what I'd like to say to you. I've had the rare privilege as state party chair to travel the state with this wonderful statewide ticket that we've had, and in the process meet so many delegate candidates on the ground. Thursday night, we all went to Grundy, Virginia, way out in the toe of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and was able to sit in the audience and watch Glenn Youngkin do an outstanding job to present his vision for this Commonwealth, how he will lead it forward and make our Commonwealth what our people wish it to be. And after that, we toured the entire southwest part of the state, starting in Wytheville and going to Radford, and then going north to other places in the Shenandoah Valley, then down to Chesterfield, then to Richmond this morning, and then here today. And what I see, whether it is in Southside, Southwest, in Henrico County in Central Virginia, Hampton Roads, or even Northern Virginia, unprecedented energy by Republicans at stratospheric levels. And so take heart, have hope. I'll leave you with one anecdote. Now this is anecdotal, but I've heard this several dozen times, and it's this. Last Saturday, a week ago today, I joined Glenn and Winsome and Jason outside of Roanoke, Virginia, in a community called Salem, Virginia. Every year they do an event called Old Salem Days, and it's a celebration of the community. They block off Main Street. Literally hundreds of street vendors set up their booths and sell their wares, but it's a great opportunity for candidates to show up and meet literally 10,000 Virginians in deep Southwest. And so after the event concluded, or after Glenn was through and had to get to something else that I was not going to attend, I decided to walk down the street and take a few minutes to see some of these street vendors and their wares. As I walked down the street, I was at one table and I saw a gentleman, and he had a Glenn Youngkin sign under his arm. And I looked at him, having never seen him in my life. He has never seen me, and I said, "Sir, I really like your yard sign." He says, "I do too." And that says something, because, buddy, you're looking at a lifelong Virginia Democrat. And I've heard this time and time again. And what he said to me was, he said, "I'm sick and tired," and this is the exact words, so forgive my French, "I'm tired of these Democrats who have driven this train in the ditch, not only in selected communities around the state, but in Richmond, and since January 20th in Washington, D.C. And I'll tell you something, it's not just me, it's individuals in my bowling league here in Roanoke, my American Legion and VFW post, my Optimist Club. This is a different year, and I intend to vote Republican, as do my friends, and we are not going back." And so I said to him, "Sir, do you mind me asking your name?" And he said, "My name is blankety blank." And I said, "You don't know me, but I'm Rich Anderson. I am chairman of the Virginia Republican Party." I stuck my hand out and I said, "Welcome to the grand old party." And so I hear that, and yes, it's anecdotal, but I think it is a good barometer of something that Glenn spoke of that is special. And so with that, this would not be possible without all of you here, without our fellow Republicans located from one end of our Commonwealth to the other, from Norfolk to Narrows and Southside, from Danville up to here, and all points in between. This is our year. This will happen, and it will happen because of you and because of these great statewide candidates and these wonderful delegate candidates that you see here arrayed. God bless all of you, and God bless this wonderful Commonwealth of Virginia.
What is up, guys? I'm glad I got a chance to see Glenn Youngkin speak for the second time, but unfortunately I did not get a chance to get a photo with him because he had another event to go to. But other than that, at least I got a chance to talk to Jason Miyares and get a photo with him for the second time. And also, most importantly, I got to meet the chair of the Republican Party of Virginia. So, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So, peace!